we're going to be having is called Tondo Tondo, which in Cortona dialect means just right. And Danny has the story of how we came to have Tondo Tondo in our collections, so I'm going to turn it over to him to tell you this story.
It's a great story, and one thing I would add to what Francis was saying about the Permesso, the cab that you loved so much, that and the Pinot Grigio are from a little town called Enya. So remember the singer Enya in the 90s? You know, sail away, sail away. You know that? Not known for my singing, but anyway, in Enya, it's this tiny little town. It's this ancient Austrian town. It was part of Austria before World War I. And they're passionate about food. There's one restaurant in town, and it's where we always eat there because there's one restaurant in town. And you know, we were meeting with the family, and we had lunch there, and then we did our work, and then we had dinner there, and then all of a sudden everybody left. And I'm like, where is everybody? They're playing foosball in the back. So then we played foosball until 3 in the morning, and because the other thing they care about there is ice hockey. I mean, they're all like nuts about ice hockey. So it's really cool, the culture you'll find there. So that was the Pinot Grigio and the Cad. Now Tondo Tondo is so special to us because there's a restaurant we love, and it's called Trattoria Dardano. It's on Via Dardano in Cortona, and it's owned by the Castelli family. Paolo runs it. Now Paolo is one of my favorite people on the planet, and so if you can imagine, he's what, 30? 31?
At the most.
At the most he's 30. So imagine if you took 2 Santa Clauses and stuck them together, and but with no beard and just dark hair. He's an enormous human being, but one of the most beautiful people you'll ever see in your life. He gives the greatest hugs in Cortona. Like I tell everybody that. Like I'll go there and I'll hug him, and I'm just like, no, not ready to let go. Just can you do this to my hair? But I just love him. And so we were there with my wife and I and Ed and Francis, and we were eating all these grilled meats with the extra sausage, and we were drinking all this expensive Cortona Syrah, thinking our Sangiovese Tondo Tondo has to be perfect. It has to be just right, like the name. It's got to be good. And we had been all over Tuscany looking for it. And we were drinking all this expensive Syrah, and there was about 11 or 12, and we're done. And then Francis says, you know, I don't think I'm done. I think I'd like to keep drinking wine. And I said, why wouldn't we? I mean, this is a great, you know, we can all kind of roll home. And so Ed says, you know, their house Sangiovese is fantastic. Let's just get that. And so they brought a big jug, a big fustino of that, and it sits on our table, and we're loving this more than any of the expensive Syrahs. It was fantastic. And so Francis is like, do you think this could be Tondo Tondo? And I said, I doubt they have that much. It's just their house wine. So I said to Paolo, Paolo, this is awesome. And he goes, I know, we make it. It's my family's wine. And I said, how much do you have? And he goes, how much you need? I'm like, no, how much do you have? Because, you know, Italians will always say everything's possible when not, it isn't always possible, right? You guys know that. And so he's like, it's 3 in the morning, and he's like, meet us at the gas station. In Cortona, there's one, so you know where to go. Meet us at the gas station at 8 a.m. We're like, Madonna ragazzi, non ci credo. So we go to the gas station at 8 a.m., and he drives us over. We follow him to this place between a Vignonese and Tre Rose, this ancient, what was an abbey? Or
A bishop's palace.
It was a bishop's palace that was partly fallen down. And we get there, and we walk in, the whole Castelli family is there, and we walk in, and they're all just these big grins, and they've got all this prosciutto laid out, and bread, and tomatoes, and everything, and all this wine for us to try. And we're like, it's 8 in the morning. We still feel last night's wine. And so, why not, right? Perché no? Quando in Italia. So we're there, and it was fabulous, and they had oceans of it. It had never been in a bottle before. It had only been sold as fuso, loose wine. So you could go there and you could fill up your big fustinos or your jugs or those big green bombolas, and they would sell it to restaurants. And so we're like, well, we want all of it. And he goes, isn't that possible? What are we going to drink? And I'm like, you can have some, you get this much, and then we get this much. And that's Tondo Tondo. And I'll tell you, the next vintage is fabulous, but in 2011, it's one of those vintages where all the gods got together and said, let's do a perfect season. And I mean, the sun was right, the rain was right, everything aligned just right. and it was absolutely perfect. So the vintage that you're having is probably the best vintage in 30 years. So you got a little order form. Feel free to order a case of it, and you can get it from these fine guys over here. But anyway, thank you very much. Grazie. Enjoy these next few wines.